Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So, today's video we're going to talk about martial law and can it happen? Now, the short answer is not exactly, and the long answer is not exactly without repercussions. Now, what I mean by not exactly is there's a lot of things in play to get martial law started. Now, the only reason why I'm talking about this, to be fair, the only reason why I'm even mentioning it is because Pinball Preparedness, who you guys should visit his channel, he put up a video on martial law. And basically because a lot of YouTubers talk about martial law happening and how it's inevitable and it's just like a free-for-all and how it could just be granted and all this other shit that a lot of guys say. Now, I have to admit, when it came to martial law, I knew very little about it. I knew about it from my perspective as a fireman, which is not saying much, right? So, cops and National Guards, they knew more about it than us. And I was always under the impression that it can happen at will. But the other side of that coin was, for it to happen, that means there's going to be a lot of pushback, right? And that it's not an easy grant to get. Now, on a local level, it can happen, but only in sections, right? So, for example, New York State, the entire state of New York cannot be brought under martial law because there's not enough National Guards to service the entire states. Certain areas can be brought under martial laws, and then even then it's not martial law. It's more of like a minor shutdown, right? And martial law is when government takes over completely and local law enforcement is out, if you will. Martial law is the imposition of direct military control of normal civil functions or suspension of civil law by government, especially in response to temporary emergencies where civil forces are overwhelmed. So, New York City, in theory, if COVID got so much worse and the protesting took off, in theory, New York City could be brought under martial law under the guise of the governor, right? And I think with the grant of the president. Now, so that is not likely to happen, ever, right? There are too many things that go into play with martial law. So for one to make a blanket statement about martial law happening and them taking their guns and food, it is false. There's just way too many things in the way of getting to that point. And a nationwide martial law, I'm going to say, guys, it is not going to happen. It isn't. Nationwide martial law would take so much effort into trying to control the entire United States with just National Guards, and obviously you might have to implement the actual Marines and Army, right? Then you might have something. But then, to get to that point, it's almost impossible. You're not going to get every politician to sign off on this. You're going to have to convince the hell out of the local government in that state and area to also sign off on it. It is so many things in play, it's unreal. So for it to happen, it's pretty implausible. All right. So with the fear mongering of martial law and taking your guns and your food, guys, the last time martial law was implemented was right after the Pearl Harbor bombing. So again, something that we haven't seen in 80 years or so, and we're not going to see. It's just as simple as that. If Biden gets into office, we're not going to see instant martial law. That is not going to happen. The gun grab is going to be a fight for even Biden and Kamala Harris to do. So just because those two go into office does not mean our guns are going to disappear, guys. Martial law is not a magic wand. Biden and Kamala Harris, they're not a magic wand. They're not going to get into office and all of a sudden make shit disappear. It doesn't work that way. So the oppositions I talk about are soldiers, politicians, and the people. If you have, let's say, nationwide martial law, guys, there are soldiers that are absolutely not going to abide by that unlawful order. One. Two, you're going to have politicians that are not going to sign up for that and sit by and watch it happen. Three, you're not going to have local law enforcement give up their power and just go, all right, guys, you got the show. And then four, The people are going to be the bigger headache. They're the ones who are going to fight back. They're the ones who are going to get ugly if it has to get ugly. Then you got law enforcement helping the people, right? So now, again, it's more of a fight than just rolling over and going, okay, you guys got martial law in play. We can't do anything. Every politician in the United States know that that is not going to happen. They know that we are going to fight. They know that we're not going to roll over. So martial law, guys, way less likely to happen. If this was fucking Iran or Afghanistan or Iraq, maybe. Now you're definitely going to see infighting amongst the soldiers, right? So you're going to have soldiers that'll comply to the order, and you're going to have soldiers that won't comply. So however that goes, there's going to be infighting amongst the ranks. There's going to be infighting amongst the soldiers. So again, people know this. So trying to get martial law in play is going to be super hard. Then you got politicians who, they're not signing off on this shit. They'll be fighting in whatever chamber they're holding this meeting in. It's not likely to happen. Now, when I first started prepping, I thought martial law was something that can absolutely happen. And I'm like, man, these guys are, you know, they know what they're talking about. But the older you get, the longer you go, you're like, I started thinking to myself, well, but what about this? These people are going to fight. The cops are not going to sit by. And then I left it at that. Then you leave it up to professionals who know constitutional rights, things like that. Again, pinball preparedness, he's not a lawyer, but the guy knows his shit. And when he started rattling off those things, I was like, makes sense. So this video is just talking about the oppositions and the headaches and the obstacle courses that are going to be in the way should martial law ever even be talked about, right? So he talks about the more legal aspects of it. So I tell you to watch his video, Pinball Preparedness, watch his video. The link to his video will be in the description section below. You guys need to watch that video because he talks about facts. Now I'm talking about the opposition, the fighting, and how that's going to go down. It's not going to play out well for whoever tries to institute martial law. But martial law is not likely to happen, therefore I'm not nervous, scared, or I don't even worry about it. Now granted, we have a local issue. Absolutely, you can get National Guards in. The LA riots, they had the Marines come in, right? And I don't think that was martial law. That was, forgot the term. It was another term they used, but it wasn't martial law. They just locked down the streets overnight. The Marines cleaned it up, and the shit was done. They thought they were going to have to do that here. Didn't get that crazy because NYPD locked it down. They should have done it in Portland, but it wouldn't have been martial law. You know the crazy shit about this block? I have to say it. Cars never come down the street. I decide I'm gonna do a video because it's quiet and every Tom, Dick, and Harry's driving through here now. It's insane. Anyway, guys, 2 pinball preparedness credit. The guy's older, so he's more refined, and older people are always more refined because they see shit for what it is, and then they do their research. Now, Pinball Preparedness said it, and I'm gonna say too, whatever a prepper says on YouTube, guys, you have to research. You cannot just go, man, Angryprepper said, or Pinball Preparedness said this. Watch the videos and then do your research. Now, here's the other thing about martial law, the gun taking and the food taking. That is less likely to happen. If we are in some kind of invasion, like China wants to invade the United States, like Red Dawn kind of shit, there could be martial law in play, but at that point, the government's going to do what it needs to do to sustain itself, right? So if that's take your guns and your food, which again is less likely to happen because military has their own shit, they're not going to need, 6, 7, 8 guns from, Mr. Tom in fucking Nebraska, who's on the borderline between China and the United States fighting for land. They're not going to ask for his fucking 5 or 6 guns. Military has more than enough. So again, taking your shit just for the sake of taking it, I don't think that's going to happen. And again, I say think, because in this day and age, anything can happen. But that is less likely to happen, and that is something that I'm not worried about, and neither should you. We should worry and focus on the things that are going to affect us, which is a second shutdown. Second shutdown, guys, here in New York City, it's happening. Again, whether you think COVID is fake or real, it doesn't matter. The shutdown is causing real problems. Restaurants right now who are closed down in Brooklyn are never going to open again because they can't. They can't survive this second one, and it's not like the landlords are giving them a fucking break. So, That's the real shit happening. And with more businesses shutting down and never opening again, that means more unemployment. That's a fucking problem. This is why, your disdain for COVID is irrelevant. It's irrelevant, guys. Whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant. We have bigger issues at hand. Now we have the election coming up. We had that kidnapping plot that wanted to spark civil war. Guys, we got real shit unfolding. So guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. And thank you for watching.